All right. Okay. Here we go. Me. Let me get my soundboard up. Okay, here we go. What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Dad's Live podcast. I'm your host, Sean Flac 2.0, and with me in the studio via satellite, today we're actually missing Sensei Jon, so to fill in, we'll start off at the very top, looking up above here, we have Chiron79. Chiron, say what's up.
What's up, what's up?
We'll just go right around the corner here to Mr. Krinlee, who's catty-cording up to the top. What up, Krinlee?
What up? How's everybody doing tonight?
And then, last but not least...
Nobody? Okay.
Tough crowd.
I mean, we're good.
Yeah, tough crowd. I thought you were talking to the listeners. That's why I didn't respond.
They're not going to answer me.
Fair enough. And then, obviously, we got NjordGod right here to, I guess this is my left.
So, I'm right this way? Yeah. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about our, let's get right into the topic of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about our favorite superhero movie, kind of keep it light. In the last episode, unfortunately, I myself couldn't make it, Njord couldn't make it, and then we had the dynamic duo of Diggity Dog and Sensei Jon. They held down the show, so hopefully you guys checked out that episode. It was awesome. I actually thought it was really good. And that's what kind of brought up this. They actually talked about a lot of nostalgic stuff that, video games, TV shows. What else did you guys talk about? Video games, TV shows. Was it movies? Did you guys add movies in there?
I don't think it was movies, but like board games.
Oh, board games. That's what it was. And so kind of going off that topic, I was like, you know what? I was sitting there. It was so good. I was speaking to it. Like, oh, no, I know what that is. Or, oh, I know what this is. So go ahead. If you guys haven't listened to the episode, go ahead and check that one out. And that's what brought up for me this week's topic. We're going to talk about our favorite superhero movies. Now, again, I know everybody loves like the MCU stuff. I'm actually more of a DC fan than I am a Marvel fan. So, yeah.
DC keeping it real.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So before we get into it, just want to give anybody a chance to do any shout-outs prior to us getting started. Chiron, you got anything you want to shout out before we get started?
I do not have anything to shout out this time. I am sorry.
You're good. Obviously, we know that Chiron actually had a busy day, probably walking 3,000 miles today, looking at different animals.
Yes, we were at the Phoenix Zoo today, so it was quite the adventure. Starting to warm up, not too hot, but yeah, it was getting toasty.
Did you get any good pictures?
I hope so. I have not had time to take them out of the camera and plug them into the computer, but from what I saw when I was out taking them, yeah, I got a few good ones.
All right. And for our listeners here, if you guys are in the Phoenix, Arizona area and you guys are looking for an awesome photographer, our man, the one, the only Chiron, is actually a photographer, and he does a little bit of wedding stuff. You do photo shoots and other stuff like that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where can they find you if they're looking for a photographer?
HaneyFamilyPhotography.com.
All right. And there's my shout out for today.
Just went ahead and cut the line. Excellent. Krinlee, what you got?
So I'm going to go ahead and shout out Sensei Jon because he's not here, but for helping hold down the fort last week. And in place of him, I'll give a shout out to the good Lord upstairs.
Oh, there we go. You always got to throw that out there.
Yeah.
For me, obviously, all of you guys, you know what I'm saying, you guys coming here doing the show with us. But obviously, I got to shout out our patrons. So go ahead and head over to shadowpackwest.com, and there on the splash page is a link straight to our Patreon page. You head over there. You could start your patronage as little as $1 a month, and that kind of just helps us keep us going, keeps the lights on, keeps the website going. If you're interested in supporting any or all of our content, also while you're there, go ahead and go to the pack page. You can see all of the members of the Shadow Pack West team there, all their contact information. Always want to say shout out to the team, shout out to the patrons. Thank you guys for following us month to month. And I think that's about it. Also want to say a special shout out to Chiron, because I love it that he's able to come on here and, come hang out with us once in a while.
Anytime.
As far as Sensei Jon's absence, I don't have a cool spinning thing, but if you guys are here on the YouTube, you'll see a shoe that's right here in honor of Sensei Jon. Unfortunately, I'm not a Nike or Jordan fan as he is. I'm more of a Allen Iverson person. So this is the Question Mid-Low. And just for a little bit of history behind it, the Question Mid-Low came out in 1996. It was very famous for the moment where Allen Iverson crossed up his airness when he wore his Question Mid original red-toed shoe. And then I'll be putting out a quick video, a little bit about it. Also, it's a big boy foot shoe. It's very wide. That's what I like about them. Anyway.
I went and got some new shoes yesterday.
Cool. Okay, what'd you get? Are they work boots? Yeah, they're work boots.
No. One pair is my everyday pair, but they're still boots. But they're Irish setters. Okay, and I have never worn a pair of Irish setters before. I've always been like Red Wing or Ariats and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I stuck my foot in these Irish setters and I fell in love.
Wow.
I was like, hell yeah. I walked out in them.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to look that up and kind of maybe talk about that here in a little bit. Okay, I think that's all we got. Krinlee, before we get started to our main topic, what do we got to do first?
First, I want to ask Chiron, whatever side he's on, what's in his cup?
What's in my cup? Okay, today we are doing sparkling ice, and we're doing the Starburst cherry flavor.
You know what? I love.
They're really good.
I love the fact that it's 0 sugar. Yes, I love that fact.
And 5 calories. So I don't know where the 5 calories comes in when everything else on the back of the label is pretty much 0.
It's the Starburst flavoring they put into it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Whatever, it's good, and it's better than soda.
And it still gets your fix because it's sparkling water, right? You still get your bubbles. Okay.
All right.
I guess I'll go.
I'll go ahead.
Oh, you'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm also doing a 0 sugar drink, and this is actually not easy for us to find, but that is a 0 sugar Snapple apple.
Oh, but it's not like that's cool and all, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't make the...
No, it does not.
That ain't no glass bottle that you bought it in a vending machine.
I don't even know. Can you find them anymore?
You just hoped it survived the fall all the way down.
Oh, right.
Do they even make those anymore? Because every time I get a Snapple, it's in a plastic bottle.
They might not make them anymore.
They might not. So if you find one in a gas station, it's probably past its expiration date.
Beware, then. Beware.
Okay. I'm sitting here with good old faithful Voodoo Ranger.
Okay.
Brute Force. Yeah.
Fruit Force. I gotta find that so I can just try that.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's an easy one to drink. So NjordGod, tell us or show us, I guess rather.
Well, he can.
So well, actually, I even have to turn my tumbler around. In honor of the man, the myth, legend that's not here with us, Sensei Jon, I decided to drink out of a tumbler, a whiskey glass, right? But this season, you're gonna have to go back to last season to find out what is in my cup. It's the same thing I drink every time, mostly. But tell me what's in my cup, and we will shout you out. I'll give you the really cool, fun, what is it? Audio mixer, voice changer, shout out live on the podcast if you can tell me what is in my cup.
And we'll also give him the horns. All right. So we know what's our main topic for today. We're going to be talking about our favorite superhero movie. And who wants to go first?
Guests go first, right?
Guests go first. Chiron79, how we doing today? What do you got for us?
I'm doing good. All right. So, and I've been thinking about this all day, and Nord, he kind of like put it on there. You can't. It's impossible to choose just like one. So.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it.
And movie. You guys threw a movie out there, and I think I like this, but the movie that has recently come out sucked. Okay, so I am a huge Flash fan. So DC all the way.
Right. Oh, yeah, there we go. Give me the horns.
All the way back to the original Flash, eating the cereal and you know what I'm talking about. And now Grant Gustin, he was, in my opinion, he did the best job at the Flash. Now the movies, I don't know, it didn't hold the same tone, and FX got in the way, and other stuff that was going on got in the way. But I'm a huge Flash. I think that storyline and the whole arc and the whole Arrowverse, how they kind of tied all that together, all that whole series was really, really good. They had a few dumb moments, but I think you're going to have that dip down, and especially when they ran for so many seasons. I mean, and they went through a couple different writers, so things change. But yeah, I would say my favorite is the Flash.
Did you just talk about the WB Flash series?
He did.
Who's that?
I will agree with you. I mean, I think the whole Arrowverse, with the Flash, even the Legends, I wasn't a big fan of, but I watched it anyway. I didn't watch the Batwoman one. I didn't watch that one, but Flash, Arrow, Legends, wasn't there another one? Oh, Supergirl. Eventually, Supergirl came over from like CBS or something, and that came in to it. I watched a couple seasons of that. And I'm going to have to say...
Which led us into Lois and Clark, which, if you haven't watched that is, man...
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good,
top notch. Like, at first, it's hard to grasp him as Clark Kent and all that, because it's a different... He's got a different way of taking the character, but when you get into it, it grabs you by the cojones.
Now, Lois and Clark, was that the 90s one?
No, he's not.
No, so they rebooted it. They rebooted it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that was
on Channel 7.
But it wasn't related. I don't know. I see him as two different takes on the characters.
Yeah, they are. So the 90s version of Lois and Clark is kind of them all meeting, this, that, and the other, right? This version of Lois and Clark is they've got kids.
Oh, so like the future.
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't. So yeah, I remember because Superman came onto the Supergirl thing, and then I remember them doing the show for him, and I didn't mind him as Superman. I thought he was a pretty decent Superman. So I'm going to totally agree with you. That whole universe, the writing, and the tie-ins, like when they had all the crossovers every season, like you got to watch, like you had to binge up to the crossover, and then binge up to the crossover, then binge up to the crossover, on everything, and then
they made you watch the other shows.
Yes, that's exactly it. And like I said, I enjoyed it. Yes, I enjoyed it. I was sad when, Arrow went, 8 seasons, I think, and I think Flash went 7 seasons or something. And I thought, again, those are obviously my two staples, big fans, and just how they kind of kept that thing going. Like, they kept especially for, like, the Arrowverse thing, how they did the flashbacks and all that stuff. I thought that was actually really, really cool. So yeah, I got you on that one. All right, who wants to go next? Well, obviously Nord probably has to bring like a secondary because maybe he was going to talk about that one because the way his reaction was.
I mean, I'm kind of mad. I was straight up gonna sit here and again, I'm a huge Flash fan. That's like my favorite superhero ever. The Flash. I hated who they picked for the Flash movie that just came out.
Oh, Ezra
I think he was
Miller.
I think he was a horrendous Flash. But I also just don't like him as a person. You know. But
that effect.
I can have an effect.
I was gonna sit here and say what I love that DC did over the Marvel universe is DC gave us the series, the TV shows, so we could see the origin story of all of our favorite superheroes. Right? We've already been talking about Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, and then you've got what was the Batman one called again? Gotham, right? Like literally see just going through Batman as a child, right?
Right.
So we got so much more backstory that correlated with the comic books that we were able to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Where the MCU was just straight up like, boom, they're a superhero. Except for Iron Man. Iron Man was already like, we got a little bit of backstory there.
Right.
But he kicked everything off, right?
Right, 2008.
But I can't pick any movies.
Oh, you want some time to think? Because I already got mine in mind.
Yeah, I'll go ahead because I've got to have to come up with something else now.
Okay. Okay, so I personally, if we're talking about superhero movies, I had to bring it back. Even though I'm a big DC fan, I picked Blade with the original Wesley Snipes movie. And, you know, obviously at the time, you know, superhero movies weren't even a thing. And Blade, even not even being like a superhero movie, like it was more of a vampire movie than it was a superhero movie. Now, the movie came out in 1998. And at the time, this is around the same time as like The Matrix coming out, you know, originally. So like it really had to compete against certain types of movies, and that really, for me, took it had a really dark undertone. Like you could see the very first. Have you guys seen the movie before?
Oh yeah.
It's been ages, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that very first scene, like it was action packed. You know, I even want to like look up the little soundtrack music that they were playing. I think it was called like Bloodbath because I actually got the soundtrack, and you'd play that rave music or whatever, and I'm just like, oh man! And they're like, it's the Daywalker, and he tore everybody up. I mean, skeletons were flying everywhere. So you know, big action. Wesley Snipes is a martial artist, so like he did a lot of his own choreography, so everything looked nice and smooth. I mean, even to this day, some of the fight scenes, you know, from over 20 years ago, could stand up to today's choreography. I really thought. And then the tone, like after he got done, like blowing everybody, you know, to pieces or whatever. It's the scene where he comes out of like the little sewer and he has his little long trench coat. He's walking down the aisle and it's dark and like shit's flying all over the place. I was like, yes, this is one hell of a movie. And I want to say like its story, the fact that it was a Marvel movie, Wesley Snipes produced it, and at the time he was a really, you know, he came off of stuff like Passenger 57, so he was a pretty hot action star. I'm taking it back to 1998. You know what I'm saying? So, any thoughts on that movie?
No, that was just one of those movies. I know they came out with Blade 2, right? They took it further. I wish that would have kept going. I really do. There was rumors that after Wesley Snipes got out of prison, that that they were going to reboot it, right? Kind of disappointed that they did it.
Well, they came out with the part 3, so it was Blade Trinity. So they had part 2, then the Blade Trinity, and then the rumor is that he's supposed to be a part of this whole new multiverse that's being set up for the MCU.
So they're working on a game right now.
Oh, a Blade video game.
Yep.
Now, is it supposed to coincide with that new Blade that's supposed to be the new Blade movie that's supposed to be coming out? I forget. Who
I don't know that.
is. So
I don't know that.
So, needless to say, I'm excited to see if he pops up in any like the multiverse things or whatever coming forward. But Blade for sure. For me, it's nostalgic. It was a great movie, great action. I'm big martial arts fan. He had one hell of a gun. Like his gun was like a modified something. That thing never ran out of bullets, and it just chick 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 chick, and he was just wasting them. So yeah, that's what I got. All right, who's up?
You got the sword too.
Oh man, that sword.
Where they stole his sword, and then it's got that thing, that timer, and it clicks,
Tink.
and then and you're like,
and blew dude's hand off. He's like, ah! Oh yeah, and he had all the little things, all the little gadgets that he had in that too. So he had his like modified shotgun that shot stakes. Then he had that little thing that he threw, like those little boomerang or something that kind of went around. And then in part 2, he had like a whip. He had like a dagger that he could like shoot on a whip, and I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I remember watching it, but I don't remember a whole lot of details about the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what coming right out of high school, that's what we did. We went to the movies. Like the movies was an every weekend thing for us. So, that's what we did. So.
And then Ryan Reynolds was in one of those
Trinity
Blade movies.
Oh yeah,
Trinity
with what's her name? Jessica Biel.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, I'm a fan. All right, Krinlee, looks like you're up next.
I don't know. I'm gonna preface this with I'm not a real big superhero movie watcher. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
but
I think your stock just dropped a little bit. Give him the other horns.
I don't think the stock can drop, but dude, I don't know if my stock drops anymore. I might just file for bankruptcy. Anyway, I figured I would go with something a little wacky, and I'm gonna throw out Spawn.
Okay.
Never saw it.
What? Oh man.
With John Leguizamo and who was it?
Yeah, he was the clown thing.
Yeah, Michael Jai White. Is that who was Spawn?
I couldn't tell you.
Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and look that up. But yeah, he was John Leguizamo was Violator. That's who the enemy was there.
Yeah, look that up and then see what he's doing lately, because I think he's coming back into something as well.
Oh man, that's cool.
Who, Spawn?
Yeah, that character, the guy who originally played Spawn, he's coming back and doing something else.
Oh, I was hoping you were talking about John Leguizamo. I was like, nice. He'll probably never play Luigi again, but nice.
So it is Michael Jai White, and I'm a big fan of him. He's a big martial artist as well. John Leguizamo, obviously, he's been in a bunch of great movies. Recently, I just remember John Leguizamo from John Wick. He played the character in John Wick. And apparently Martin Sheen was in this movie as well. Spawn came out in 1997. And yeah. Let's see here. What did it get on Rotten Tomatoes? Okay, this is IG.
I was in the Army, and one night they let us have leave, and the leave was to the only little theater on base, and it had one movie, and the movie was Spawn.
Nice.
Well, was it really nice? That's the only place you could go?
Yeah, that was it. Hey, we didn't give a shit. We would have watched it 18,000 times if it meant we didn't have to go do any more of that crap.
So it got a 17% Rotten Tomato score by Rotten Tomatoes and a 36% rating on by the audience. So it didn't do too well.
And one of the things I liked about Spawn, though, was because he was a bad person, but kind of put into a situation where he was doing good. It's just, I don't know, a different take on a superhero, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Spawn played the anti-hero. So he was like a mercenary. He got killed. He made a pact with the devil to come back and to be, I guess, the devil's hell spawn, basically. Yeah. And, so then he used his powers to actually rebel against the devil. And, like I said, some of his powers, if you guys don't know who Spawn is, he had a cape. He had, so his cape was like a living cape. He could basically make any melee weapon come out of his bodysuit. He had chains. He used his chains a lot. And then he actually used guns. Since he was a mercenary, and I don't know what branch of the army he was in originally, but he would actually use guns. And he'd be doing a lot of shooting too. So, like I said, I enjoy Spawn, the character. And what I loved about Spawn is Todd McFarlane's action figures. That's, where I really came into Spawn. Like, those things were works of art. Like, you'd open them and put them there, and they would never move. Because they were so cool.
Wait, they're supposed to move?
Right. All right, Nord, what you got for us?
I liked what you said about Blade, and it got me thinking. Like, one of my all-time, kind of superhero movie, but it follows that whole same thing of, vampires and lichens and all of that. I'm going to go with Underworld. I loved that entire series. Straight up just this badass looking chick, right? Just sitting here, just messing up everybody with these killer looking freaking Glocks, right? And then brings in this random dude that follows the lineage of the original Lycan and all of that, and comes out he's a hybrid, and they start turning on the vampires, turning on the Lycans, and then you get to go back in time and see how the Lycans were slaves and how the vampires just ruled over them, and then the Uprising. Actually, that one was called Underworld Uprising. It just spanned it all very well, and then what was it? 10 years later, they just came out with the newest one.
Oh, wow. Did they?
Right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen the first one, but it was really good.
Oh, dude. Again?
What was that?
Is Kate Beckinsale in it again?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm. Yes.
Man, if you haven't checked out any of this, just watch the cliff drop scene. It's the very first scene.
That was cool.
Off the whole thing.
God.
If you haven't seen the cliff drop scene, that is pure. It's the Matrix moment where Neo.
Every young teenage boy's fap dream, okay? Just saying.
It
does the whole body pan up shot. Oh, God.
Yeah, watch that. I agree with Nord. That's a top, a very much top, all the way through.
I think countless boys had her poster up on their wall.
Okay, let's see here. They got Underworld came out in 2003. Evolution came out in 2006. Rise of the Lycans came in 2009. So looking at a 3-year streak every year. Awakening came out. So Underworld Awakening came out 2012. Blood Wars came out in 2016. And that's all it says.
Blood Wars was the last one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, like I said, that was, again, you got that dark, you got, I like the whole John Woo style, double gun, double pistol.
Yeah.
Akimbo. Yeah, akimbo shooting. Yeah, all the different action. And you know what? It's interesting because I'm not big into vampires and werewolves or whatever. Go ahead, Njord. You gonna say something?
What I liked about how they did this, right, is they integrated the technology, right, into their wars, right? So some of the Lycans actually had UV bullets that to kill other vampires. The vampires had Wolfsbane, in their bullets and stuff like that. But what I really liked was actually seeing their interpretation of the metamorphosis of the Lycans. right? So like the actual wolf form of them, I actually think that turned out fantastic. And then I liked how they did the change with the hybrid, right? Like they didn't completely wolf out, but it was enough. Their skin color changed, and yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of these movies. I do what I do like about these ones in particular. Again, I don't know too much about like the lore behind vampires and werewolves, but the fact that they were enslaved to be like the protectors of vampires, and then that kind of went into the whole. I don't know, you guys remember Van Helsing, and I think Kate Beckinsale was in that too.
Yep, she was.
Yeah, so where it was like, okay, it kind of echoes that story how. Their vampires are actually scared of werewolves. That's why they enslaved them. And then you get this whole backstory of, in the beginning of the movie, like they're the rebels. They're the bad guys. And then you get the backside of it and you're like, no, they're the oppressed, the oppressed, and they're trying to rise up against their oppressors. And it's like, oh, okay, that's where this is going. So no, I'll give it to you on that one. That's another great choice.
Again, it's not your standard kind of like going your route. It's not your standard
like superhero movie,
but at the same time, it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll take that one. Yeah, okay. Anybody got any final thoughts on Underworld?
Watch it.
Yeah.
If you haven't,
I've only seen the first one, but I love it.
If you haven't watched it in your mail, watch it for sure.
Hey.
Okay. Okay. So those are some picks that we got. So we got Underworld, we got Flash the series. I brought up Blade, and Krinlee had brought up
Spawn.
Spawn.
I was gonna see if he got it.
Yeah, I was like, it's actually sitting right here in front of my computer as I look. Oh, what is this? So I mean, those are all great movies. So for you listeners out there, like, what was your favorite, I guess, action movie at this point, or superhero series? Let us know in the comments down below. If you guys, liked, the picks or whatever, you have your own picks, let us know. Yeah, I mean, and that'll be it for that little piece of the topic there. I kind of wanted to kind of throw this out there. In our last Patreon that we did as a group, we kind of got into some dad advice. And the one thing that was brought up was like first dates. And if you kind of want to know our little takes on that or whatever, go ahead and check out the patronage. You got to head over to shadowpackwest.com and sign up for the patronage. You go ahead and take a look at that episode. But one of the things I wanted to talk to as far as like giving a little dad life or dad advice in this episode was some red flags. So if you're out there, we're all dads, and like I said, we've dated before, and
we have.
I mean, we haven't dated before, but we've dated our significant others or whatever before. And so, or just was in a dating game prior, or whatever the case is. And I wanted to kind of talk about some red flags that you guys have had and you might want to share with anybody that's, not a dad yet, or maybe he's a single dad, or, maybe, this comes up with me thinking about like, what advice would I give my son, right, when it comes to stuff like this. So the question I brought up, and I'll ask this right now, is if you are dating somebody, and of course, if there's women out there, listening to the podcast, first of all, thank you for listening. But if you're dating somebody and you finally go up to their house for the very first time, you got to go use a restroom, and their restroom is a mess. What do you do?
Like, what kind of mess are we talking about? Are we talking about, like, makeup and everything and all their stuff all over the counters and all that bullshit? Because, boy, we live with that now. What kind of mess are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about one that it's basically just not clean. Like, it doesn't look like it's been cleaned for a while. So, yeah, I mean, guess maybe the makeup could be out or whatever the case is, but you walk in there and it's kind of disgusting in there.
Like dust on everything.
I mean, or like you said,
that's my
I mean, like the
suggestion
toilet
is
paper
that's when
roll
you
put on backwards.
become
I mean, that's unacceptable.
it's waterfall only.
Right. At least we're all in agreement in that one.
But I think that's where you sit here and you have to obviously be respectful, right? I mean, that's the very first and foremost thing, because just because someone has a different living style than you do doesn't mean that you can be disrespectful.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody should be
But
disrespectful.
we're giving advice,
Okay.
right? So I'm giving my advice.
Okay.
But find a respectful way to get out. And from then on out, you just invite them over to your place if you still like them.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Krinlee, what you got? What you got on that situation?
I don't even know, really. Like, that's just... Yeah. Just run. Run.
Yeah. Okay.
It's never too late to run. No, I'm just picking. But, I mean, like he said, you be respectful, but run.
Okay, that's 2 for run. Chiron, what you got?
I'm already gone. I never even showed up after the first 2 guys were there. Nope, I got this
After the
one
first 2
thing
guys were there?
gone.
And I'm gonna have to agree.
Which is amazing because, right, if you think about it, most women would say that men are just naturally disgusting, but yet here we all are, and we don't want to be put in disgusting situations at all.
It's very true. That's very true. Like I said, when I was a store manager for a Foot Locker, right, we used to say, to all the managers, right, you run your store about as clean as your bathroom is, right? So if your bathroom was dirty, you could pretty much guarantee that, you didn't run your store like a tight ship. So I made sure every week I cleaned the bathroom. I gotta go. Yeah, I think to me it's a hygiene thing, number one. If it ain't clean in the bathroom, I mean, if we decide to go to like second or third base,
How clean?
right. So anyways, so what would you guys do as listeners? What would you guys do in a situation like that? Leave the comments down below, and maybe some other red flags that you have experienced that you're like, we're gonna run to. Obviously, the guys is in your dating experiences here. What are some red flags that you came across that was just an absolute no?
Shit.
Easy one. Drugs.
Okay, drugs. Okay.
I mean...
Oh, she wasn't sharing? Yeah, I have a problem with not sharing.
I mean, herbs I don't care so much about, but whenever they're like, obviously have, for example, like an opioid problem, like, it's scary, it's hard, but I mean, I've been in that situation before where it was like, I want to help you, you don't want me to help you, I'm done.
Right. No, I hear you. Yep. Okay. Red flag drugs. I hear you on that. Especially if we're not, like you said, I'm trying to date you or something like that. Yeah, I can't take on that headache.
Okay, I'm gonna preface this one past the age of 18, obviously, because I don't know what kids are sitting here listening to us.
Oh yeah.
Right. Past the age of 18 with no driver's license. That's a red flag.
Okay.
That's a red flag. Like, okay, so I'm gonna have to like cart you to and from work or everything. Like,
that's a sign you have no care for independence at all.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. These kids could Uber like it's nothing. Like they can.
You know how much they're spending money on that?
I know,
though?
trust me. But like kids nowadays, they got their parents taking them everywhere. I mean, I know when I was growing up, the first thing I did at 15 and a half was get my permit. Got my driver's license at 16. But yeah, I hear.
I didn't get mine until I turned 18. But I rode my bike to school, to and from school. It was like half a mile to school, right? Everywhere I needed to go was within a half a mile. So I rode my bike. But the day I turned 18, I went and got my driver's license.
heard that. Okay. Chiron, what you got?
Man, I'm gonna really sound like the old man of the group here. I am because mine's like it's just it tells you so much, and you don't have to even go far into it. All you have to do is say, "Do you know what your credit score is?" Right? I'm sorry if they go, "Huh?" You're like, "Nope, I'm dipping the." You don't even know what that. I mean, that's. I told my kids like, go steal, rob, and murder. Keep your credit score good, no matter what you do. That number, like, it's a magical number. It lets you do so much, and it stops you from doing so much.
Right.
It really fucking matters. So, yeah, no, and like I said, you can have a bad credit score. Credit scores can be fixed.
Right.
But if you go, what's your credit score? And they have no clue. Nope. Red flag, I'm out.
Okay. Oh, that's you know what? You're right. That definitely sounds like an old man red flag. What's your credit score? Right. I can't financially recover from that. I don't got enough time to recover from that. Yeah, okay. Here goes one. I'm gonna share one a friend had told me about, which I thought was kind of funny. Then I'll share my own. Oh, so he would tell me, like, you know, he would take like girls to like the Cheesecake Factory, right? And I was like, okay, you know, on their first date or whatever. And he said his red flag, and this is just through his experience. Anytime any woman that he dated ordered the fettuccine Alfredo, the chicken fettuccine Alfredo, they were crazy. So they ended up being crazy. So he made that, like, that was one of his red flags, and I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, but I could see that. He was like, I could see that. He's like, yeah, every time I've taken somebody to the Cheesecake Factory, they order the chicken fettuccine Alfredo. I just knew that it wasn't going to work from then on, because everybody that's done that's always been on the lunatic side or whatever. I'm like,
Oh, Jesus.
right.
I mean, but to be fair, I don't know if I've ever dated a chick that didn't end up being crazy.
Regardless of what
I know I didn't marry one. I mean, never mind.
You know, one of my red flags, honestly, is it's like falling too hard too soon. You know, like I think,
yeah.
you know, like, you know, you're dating or whatever, and you're kind of talking or whatever, and then like next thing you know, they're moving in. You know, it's only been like 2 months or 3 months, and they're ready to move in. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think the 2 or 3 different situations where that kind of happened to me in my dating career, I'll say that. You know, there's many moons ago. Many moons ago. But yeah, when they kind of fell too hard, too fast, was ready trying to move in and kind of set themselves up. And at the time, I had my son. So, you know, I'm a single dad, and I'm not trying to, you know, bring any extra, you know, plates to feed. So, to me, that was a red flag, especially being a single dad. So, you know, that's what I got.
Okay.
Chiron, looks like you got something to say. Like, you want to say something. Either that or is something just blinding you or what?
Yeah, your forehead's blinding me. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're all wearing hats. Damn. That's a shiny forehead. Shiny teeth that sparkle.
All right. Well, you know what? That looks like, you know, it kind of wraps up the time that we have for our main show here, guys. I just wanted to say thank you for coming in and just sharing your thoughts about, you know, our little movie, the little media thing that we talked about, and a little bit of dating advice. You know, maybe somebody that's listening or whatever could kind of laugh at some of the stuff we said, or, you know, maybe take some stuff to heart and maybe share what they have about the subjects in the comments below. Stay tuned with us. Again, if you are a patron, we are going to be doing our After Dark episode here shortly, right after the episode here. So stay tuned for that. I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything else before we head on out?
Yes. If anything at all says run, just run. And the problem's solved.
Trust your gut. Trust me.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and listen to your parent, your mama. Definitely listen to your mama because your mama ends up being right too. Just saying. I know there's a couple of
Mother's
times.
Day is coming up, you guys. Don't forget your mama.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's been countless times where my mama sat here and says something like, "Oh, I don't like her because of this, and this." Oh, mom, you don't know what you're talking about, you know? Da, 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 da. Right? And come to find out, sure as shit, yeah, no, should listen to mama.
Trust your gut before you bust
my
your
mama
nut.
said
Just
women
say-
is the devils.
No Diddy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Krinlee, rewind what you just said. Wait, what did you just say?
I said trust your gut before you bust your nut. No Diddy.
God. Yes. Wow. Yes. No Diddy. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, emotional outbursts for any of us, you guys can head over to shadowpackwest.com. Go to the pack page. You can talk to us individually there. All of our contact information is there. And without further ado, I'm gonna thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Dad's Life Podcast. And we hope that you guys tune in next week to next week's Dad Life Podcast, where you can get your Dad
Life.
Dad
advice.
All right. We're never going to get
We
that.
are never gonna get that.
Good. I hope we don't. I like it.
Jinx.
Okay, cool. Let's